welcome to another episode of the Dotted Line Podcast. I'm your host, Ray Dot, aka DJ Scotty Two Dotty, aka Mr. Make You Move Your Body. And we on episode 7, the number of completion. I got a special connection with the number of completion. But yeah. Um Today's episode is gonna be very um man, I'm trying to find a word because we got some topics today. It's gonna be very long winded because I have a hell of a lot to say about these topics. These are some 7 great topics, but a few of them deal with documentaries I have just watched recently. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna be long winded. I'm not sure how long this episode is gonna be because I want to each topic I want to really elaborate about them and then go in depth on how like I feel towards these topics. So these 7 topics for today for episode 7 are the Quiet on the Set documentary, the Homicide New York documentary, the Program documentary. 3 documentaries. The depths of human abandonment, one size fits all mentality. What do we really know? And where you are, there you are. Yeah, so ain't no sports topics, ain't none of that. Ain't no necessarily like TMZ type topic. This is hard hitting topics today. Very hard hitting topics, but certain episodes are going to be like that where in the midst of this journey called life, certain stuff may hit me differently. Pause, and like I may need to really let me lock in on these topics. So without further ado, let's um get to it, shall we? One second, let's get to it. So, man, okay, let's go with the Quiet on the Set doc to kick things off. All right, so if you have not watched these documentaries, spoiler alert across the board. But the Quiet on the Set documentary, I kept kind of hearing about it from my wife and when she's talking to my mother-in-law about it and stuff of that nature. And like I kind of knew about Dan Schneider a little bit because I kind of heard about the shit that he was like the Nickelodeon foot. Like I know he had a foot fetish and stuff of that nature. I remember hearing about that a few years back actually. I think that was during the Me Too movement when like it first got brought to the light. So I remember hearing about that probably around 2017, 2018 type shit. So with that being said, I kind of had a idea of what motherfuckers was on, but really after watching that documentary, it's just it's sad. It's sad. It's sad. It's unjust. But in this on this video, I'm going to hit a lot of topics. So that's why I say I'm going to be long winded. I'm going to be in depth because these are things that need to be discussed and things that need to be said. And I feel like hopefully later down the line, it would bring awareness to what's going on. But to kind of tackle one topic at a time, this documentary again is very it's sad. It's a graphic. It's very kind of unnecessary because this Dan Snyder guy, he kind of is like any other man, but particularly any other white man in positions of power, and not just trying to play the race card and say it's only white guys who dominate power, but when you look at it, it seems like the ones who wield the utmost diabolical power does it so happen that they are white men. And he's rest in peace to the GOAT, Chris Farley, but he's kind of like a low budget Chris Farley as far as this, you know, he started off acting, but he kind of transitioned into writing and stuff of that nature, and it's just like he kind of has that personality of just like he kind of wants to be at center of attention. You want to be in control. He's not really a secure man, and it's just you can kind of tell by this dialect how like he interacts with people. And one thing that I'm learning about this thing called life is a lot of adults. I'm talking about 40 plus, 30 plus. Like a lot of adults are not secure adults. They have children, they have wives, they have businesses. Their bank account looks nice, but they are insecure human beings. They don't know what to think, what to say. They say a lot of cringy and kind of childish and kind of just outlandish shit. And that's kind of what the gist of it, because he was lowballing his employees. He made two female writers share salaries on the Amanda show, and like just like watching how ecstatic they was to just have an opportunity to be in a company like Nickelodeon and stuff of that nature to write for a big show at the time. They were ecstatic. So when it comes to propaganda and really just reeling in people and playing them against their own determination, it's something very vile, something very devilish about that, because it's just like I'm gonna reel you in, but I know without a shadow of a doubt I'm going to manipulate you, I'm gonna chastise you, I'm gonna make you feel as uncomfortable as possible. So it's times where he made them massage him or this say inappropriate, weird, again, insecure ass shit, because you have this elected power. And that's something that all these kind of documentaries, for the most part, um, are going to kind of like really spark that thought. Like all these people that's put in positions abuse them, abuse the position that they are in for like marginal gain. I don't care if it's 10 million, 20 million, 30 million for like it's marginal gain, because if you know anything about money, that shit comes and go. Even the Elon Musk, the Bill Gates, the Bronze, the whoever, the billionaires that we can think of, the Jordans, the Magic Johnsons, they have a data transition, right? So we all do, but I'm saying that in a sense of people who have all this power and this money and this power, this fame, we just feel as if like we're gonna always be who we are at all times for all eternity. As far as this, okay, I'm gonna always be the man, even when I'm gone. I'm gonna always have this money when I'm gone. Like that. That's how certain people are like wired to think, and it's just like I don't for the life of me, and I'm gonna kind of rant about this shit a lot as far as just how people are just so quick to abandon humanity, abandon themselves for marginal gain, and it's just the fact being that's what was done as far as Dan Schneider is concerned. But the most egregious thing about the whole documentary is the Drake Bell. The utmost egregious shit. And a lot of things like that. Of course, me being a kid slash teenager during that time, like I didn't like Google and YouTube, like it's not popping like how like it was now back then. So these stories were sealed and was just kind of word of mouth, if as topics. So just kind of seeing how Drake Bell was really just exploited to the utmost, sexually assaulted. I'm not going to go into crazy detail. I'm gonna just leave it there as far as just he was sexually assaulted by um a male multiple times and stuff of that nature, and just um the fact shout out to Drake Bell too, the fact that he was strong enough to, as a man, say, hey, this happened to me by another man, and like that shit is not laughable. Of course, us, being humans, I'm pretty sure people was laughing about that and stuff of that nature, which again, that goes to the topic I'm talking about, abandoning humanity, um, right? The depths of human abandonment, yeah. But yeah, the Drake Bell thing was like really kind of perplexed me, because a grown man doing that to a teenager is outlandish. And I remember the guy who did that to him, because on the Amanda show and all other shows, the pickle boy, like it's like a super distant memory, but if you see like, oh shit, like I do remember Buddy like always popping up with like pickles, like it's a very 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 far distant memory, because so much shit has happened since I can't remember the last time I sat and watched Nickelodeon all day, or Cartoon Network, or Disney Channel all day. It's been a very long time. So is this effect being like that was a distant memory? But once I seen that, I'm yo never, like, like it's crazy, that, and then how the subliminals, like the cum shots, the pouring water as if you getting nutted on. Like it's again insecure, weird, childish, never had female attention as shit. Like it is certain things that, like, it just behooves me. It does, because like it is this, you know dealing with certain addictions throughout my life. One of them being addictions to, porn and stuff of that nature. Like I get how, if that do, like if that does not, if that cycle of just objectifying women and just being in a place and space where that's all you think about, or you feel like, okay, if I see this on porn or on these adult sites, I can emulate it with other people. And everybody's mind is not as freaky in nature as yours. Like, so you can't project, okay, this is what all women do in the bed, or this is what all women want, or like, it's just very weird, because we are all our own people. So it's just like the fact that that was the environment with children being in the midst of it is crazy. From having different things put on like them, like they had like a fear factor kind of ordeal, where like it was a black kid had I forgot the actor's name, but it was a black actor. He had peanut butter on him, and fucking dogs came and licked it off of him. And like it's shit like that that kind of it is just weird. It's weird, but like it's just like we can all say, oh, that was just the time, and at least they made money. Like, and the thing that I find the most egregious about humanity is, again, we will sacrifice. When I say sacrifice anything, we sacrifice ourselves, our own mortality, our own flesh, for money. There's not a dollar amount that there and there most people wouldn't jump at the gun and say, okay, yeah, I would sell my child, I would sell my wife, I would sell my house, I would sell myself for this dollar amount. There's not a dollar amount in this world that would make me sell myself, sell my child, sell my wife, sell anything that I have obtained for fame, for whatever. And these are kids. Like the parents, more than anything, kind of have more of the guilt, more of the shame. And a lot of parents may have been blinded by, man, like my son and my daughter is a as a star, and they probably got caught up in the whirlwind of being famous too. But the fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, no matter how you want to blur the line, no matter how much you want to hype it up, as far as it's all they were celebrities and they got paid, the shit is still egregious. Like, I don't care if I'm making a million a show, that don't qualify me to get raped. That don't qualify me to get peanut butter licked off me in the name of just making sure that I still have a shot, at providing for like my family at such a young ass age. Like, the fact that the mind gets warped like that, where like, okay, I have to do this because I don't want to go back home and my mom has to go back to work, because this is my only shot in life that I will ever have to provide and to this and the third. One thing that I have noticed over the course of watching child stars, or just any star that start off as a child or even start off late, because of, once something hits the camera, it's being documented. So it's shit that um years ago that people are bringing up now. It's shit that has happened, you know, way back when, that people are bringing it to the surface, or people remember certain things, like watching how Amanda Bynes was just such a great, at a young age, at like 8 9 years old, such a young age, had stage presence. Like, people remember that. So I feel as if you're in a place and space where you're doing something that's egregious, and you feel like, oh man, I have to comply because I'm never gonna get a shot again. I mean, nah, that's not always the case, and even if that is the case, that's somewhere you don't need to be. Because again, is this it does not do you no justice in the long run. In the moment, oh yeah, I'm famous. People know me. People want to be around me. People this, people that. But at the end of the day, like, what do you have to show for it, as far as this, um after the fame is over? Because everybody has, like, people who reach that pinnacle in Hollywood or music or whatever. You have a moment, and I get it, to not kind of contradict myself. Um, People don't always get the opportunity again, but it's better to have experienced it one time than to never experience it at all. And if you can make it out with your dignity, your respect, and not have PTSD, and not be like, fuck, like, man, this person was touching on me, this person was doing this, but I have this moment, that I was famous, so I guess it makes it worth it. Nah, like, that shit, the fact that you gotta rationalize wrongdoing is crazy. So all those actors, from all that to the Amanda Show, Drake and Josh, Victoria's, Sam and Cat, like, all these child actors, like, I um salute y'all for, making me and millions of kids' childhood memorable, and having the nostalgia moments. But I definitely feel for y'all for the shit that y'all have to, like, endure, because nobody, I don't care if you world renowned or you're just Joe Smo, nobody should have to be raped or touched or forced to do anything, and then have it dangle, hey, if you don't do this, you're gonna get fired. You're never working this business again. Who are you to say that? Like, whether it be Dan Snyder, the CEO of Nickelodeon, like, to kind of pivot to the next documentary. I just want people to know this: there is a price for everything. There's a price to pay for being a good steward. There's a price to pay for being devilish, vile. There's a price to pay for everybody. Nobody makes it out of this world unscathed. Nobody makes it out of this world in mint condition. We're going to all experience some form of trauma, whether we like it or not. But what separates us from everybody else who experienced trauma is how we and we alone deal with the shit. If we choose to continue, you know, spiraling out of control, and this is speaking from experience, it's not something just from this documentary. It's something that I have experienced firsthand. You can't blame, oh, I was sexually assaulted, oh, my mom and my dad died, oh, my mom was a like I'm type of person that I have the utmost empathy about shit like that because by the grace of God, there goes I. I could be going through that. But every like people treat you like they have been treated. You know, escaping your experiences. I said that on the last episode. A lot of people don't. People are prisoner to their perception at all times, and I mean at all times. Prisoner to their experiences at all times. You know, it's kind of hard for people to see it from any other perspective other than what they see it from their entire life. And that's how you kind of exit or gridlock diversity. Because when you don't diversify your mind, you can't diversify nothing else in your life. Everything is gridlocked. Everything is restricted now because you have this perception of, oh, it was their fault. What was the parents doing? What was this? What was that? What was this? What was that? Other than like, okay, I can see it from all standpoints. I can see how the parents were probably caught up in, hey, I have a child star, woo, woo, or like the kids just didn't want to say nothing to fuck up getting, paid and feel like a disappointment and this and third. I'm not just gonna sit here and be like, it's all on this person, it's all on this party. But my point being is when you experience shit at a certain point, you can't, as an adult, and this is just me, as an adult, most adults are not gonna listen to your sob story. If your car broke down, your car broke down, we don't want to hear it. If your check's short, your check's short, we don't want to hear it. If you having dysfunction with your child or dysfunction with um your marriage, that's your situation. Don't tell me about it. If you tell me about it, I will listen. And hey, man, Joe, woo, woo, like because that's the human aspect. We want to feel this superiority. I don't care how marginal it may be. We want to experience it because, oh man, now my situation is less egregious. No, your situation is still that, your situation. So I don't get why when certain people express their experiences, we want to automatically jump to the, oh well, it was your fault. The victim, the blame game and this and the third. But to kind of pivot to the next documentary I want to kind of touch on to end again, like escape your experiences, escape your perception. Um, know God, know what's right, know what's wrong for you, and just in the end, it will all make sense. You know. All right, moving on to the next documentary. Um, since we're on the topic of children, um, let's do the program documentary, and that kind of sounded wrong, but yeah, no weird shit was meant when I just said that. But yeah, the program. Hold on, we can. Okay, the program. So the program is a documentary on Netflix. Oh, and the Quiet on the Set. If you guys didn't know, that's on HBO Max. But moving on to the next topic. The program that's on Netflix. I think it's like ninth on Netflix or something like that. It's a independent documentary about this alternative school called Ivory Ridge that was in New York. Long story short, they were doing everything under the sun to these kids, really traumatizing these kids in a sense to make them dehumanized. And it wasn't just at this particular place, but the lady who was doing it, she went to this said school and was her and a lot of people who went there. They kind of all met up and went back to the school, and was they even like they didn't get rid of no filing, no paperwork, so they were finding old like um old documents and old this and the third. It's a classmate of hers that um have I'm talking about archive, like she's a lawyer of just shit from that school. And towards the end of the documentary you start to see that it's not just that place. It's a whole umbrella across the like over different countries. It's a few schools in the United States, under this umbrella of just really dehumanizing children, like teenagers mainly. But again, is a sad case of just abuse of power. And it's like it's egregious because like she said that it was to a point to where like you couldn't even look at the motherfucker next to you. Like, you couldn't look to the person next to you, you couldn't look out the window. If you had to piss or shit, somebody was watching you. It really makes you think like, yo, like, do human beings have a limit? Like, because I know that we have our own superpower of free will and other gifts that God give us, but at some point, where does the mirror take place? Meaning, by the grace of God, there goes I. Like, where does that happen? Because at some point, you have to be like, damn, like I'm really watching somebody take a shit so that they won't like hurt themselves or hurt me as if they're inmates. And this is a child. This is not juvie. This is alternative school. This is not juvie. This is actual school, but it was not really school. Even once they graduated the program, their diploma or certificate was invalid because once they cracked down on the school, they found that the school wasn't even licensed through the state of New York. Like, so it was just a bunch of just pyramid scheme shit so that they can abuse kids. And the it's shit like this still happening. It's still shit like this taking place. And again, it's just the power of money. It's the greed. It's the greed of money. Like, again, people will sell whatever. If there was a store like a Walmart or an app like Amazon, Temu, Wish, a motherfucker, if you was able to sell your soul, if you was able to literally say, "Come and kidnap me, but let my family have $1 million, and I do whatever you say," a motherfucker would definitely do that because that's how much we just lust. We lust. We just want money so fucking bad. Like, we just really want it so bad that we would just throw everything away in the name of whatever. If you don't stand for nothing, you will fall for anything. So the fact that people like me have principles and have morals and have values, we tend to pay a price. Just like people who are opposite of us, but on the surface, like they always win it, man. They always got the money, man. They always got this, that, and third. Because like the guy who was in charge of all these schools under this umbrella, the guy, the lady, she was literally at a karaoke bar with the guy, unbeknownst to him that she know who he is, but she was, you feel me? Like, and that's another thing too, man. It's something that I experienced too over this past weekend. It is the fact being like there's something so profound about knowing God. Whether you are spiritual or not, there's something so profound about knowing God. There's something about having that relationship. Cause this lady could have just easily bought a gun and just whacked him right there. They shot him in front of everybody and said, "You no longer exist. I was like, in the words of Tupac, my life in exchange for yours." Like, you feel me? People aren't so mentally secure, and these people, these kids, now adults, they went through fucked up situations. They have CPSD, from what the documentary was saying, complex post traumatic stress disorder, meaning like it's so complicated that even um psychologists can't even really like, damn, what's wrong, because they had to do shit like duct tape towel and hit the floor and just like, because it was very cult like too, like to kind of just really dehumanize you to make you work the program. Like it's very sinister. Ain't no word to describe it. There's no rhyme or reason to justify anything that these people did to these kids. And these people have to, again, they have to go through life with this trauma. And like I said, once you get to a certain age, you can't go to a job or go to wherever and be like, hey, I was mentally abused, physically abused, sexually abused by this institution. Can you take it easy on me at work? Employers don't care about that. Like, I just feel like it's just this cycle of just like deniability of anything that another human being has done to you. If you can present evidence, even on top of presenting evidence, because I'm the type of person that, like, your character speaks louder than anything that you do. I don't care how good you are at something. We all are good at something. But if your character is just flawed and flagrant, you don't need to be around me, man. And it is just fucked up that people have to go through life crying themselves to sleep at night, can work their ass off at work, but things throughout the day may trigger them, things throughout life may trigger them, and it's just like, oh, just that was a long time ago. Like, one of the girls had called the I guess he worked at the place, and she was pretty much saying like, don't you feel bad, like, about everything that happened to us, said things happen, and bro ass hit her with the, and yo, again, if she was to just buy a gun and just sit on where he at, and you feel me, just murk him and like his whole family, like, cause like you don't have no sympathy for nothing that you did to children. This like, it was almost like a concentration camp for like kids. And the fact that like shit like this exists in this day and age is crazy. It's crazy, but there is nothing new under the sun. Absolutely nothing. Cause like we're just infatuated with just the depths in which we can just get away with all and everything, as if we don't have to stand accountable at all. Like, and yeah, like the dude who ran the whole program from that school and a bunch of others, again, like, he was just in a karaoke bar in Utah, just kicking it. Same thing with Dan Snyder. This is an insecure man. Anytime that you abuse power to the extent of these people have done, you have a, a deep rooted insecurity. It's not all necessarily about money. Money is kind of like the sad kid. That's your Robin. But why I'm so greedy is because I'm insecure about not only losing this money, but I may have a small penis. My mother may not gave me enough love. I may have been raped when I was a kid. You feel me? So it's just a lot of these people in positions of power, their insecurities turn them into man, Frankenstein mixed with Hulk. You feel me? Like just a evil green monster, that like is gets fed. They're able to manipulate people to justify their behavior. And it's just sick. It's sick. It's sick as fuck. So, to kind of pivot to the next documentary, um, all these people who were affected by this school and just people who are experiencing this still to this day, man. My heart, my prayers goes out to you guys. You guys are people who made it out, and even the people who chose to take their own life or crash out, man. I pray over your spirit. I pray that God find security and safety in God. I pray that all of your sorrows, all of your aches and pains, you can live with it and deal with it, and that you can move forward and have a productive life. You can have children, and you can be in a place and space to where you can love yourself. That you know that you're not a victim. Well, know that you're beyond being a victim. You are a survivor. You are a person that has conquered something that a lot of people in life wouldn't be able to, and the rest of your life will be the best of your life. So, I just pray that this energy reaches those who have been afflicted by others at a young age, or who are experiencing affliction by people in positions of power. Um, you guys are strong. You guys are what the world needs to see and hear you guys' story. Okay, so moving on to the next documentary, Homicide, New York. Now this documentary just dropped not too long ago, maybe like a week ago type shit. And with this documentary, of course, it's based in New York, and I think it's about it's about five. It's about five cases that it's talked about. Um, it was a deli murder, killing in Central Park, uh, um, cleaning lady disappeared, um, and then it was a serial rapist. So to kind of walk you through everything. So, the killing at this deli. So it was in, I think, Midtown Manhattan. Um, and the documentary was showing how his north and south, how it split up between the precincts and stuff of that nature. So it was five people had got shot, three people died at this deli in the middle of a busy part of town, right next to where Jay Leno shoot his late night show at a world famous deli. It was on, because you seen it in major cities where it's business on bottom, apartment on top. So in the top apartment of this famous deli in New York, five people were shot, three of them died. And the apartment where these people got shot, it was a weed spot. This was back in like 2001. I want to say, yeah, it was like early two 2000, like 2000 or 2001. It was early in that time. And the lady who got shot and killed, she used to sell weed out of her apartment, and she had a recording studio. And motherfuckers, it was two gunmen broke in there, robbed, shot five people, killed three for $3,800. For $3,800, you did all that. And then what's so crazy is when they caught them, one of them was like, because they caught they caught one fairly easy, but the one who fled all the way to Florida, when they finally caught up with Buddy ass, he was like, "Oh, like the gun, like I was, shaking, and the gun went up." Bro, like they linked you to the crime, they got evidence, you're cooked. The fact that oh man, like the gun, nah, bro, like you're dead to right, you're cooked. So both of they ass end up getting 120 years for some senseless ass shit for $3,800. Like mind blowing. And then the second case was a Central Park stabbing. It was these two teenagers who were dating, and the story goes like they were drinking with this dude named Michael, and they again, a lot of these things like we would never know the truth, but kind of piecing together what kind of transpired. The story goes they were drinking, they were this and third, and then the teenagers went skinny dipping, and then once they got out the lake in Central Park, the Michael dude was drunk and tried to advance on a teenage girl, and then her boyfriend stabbed him to death. Now, the thing that is crazy about 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 this is right. The girl was trying to pin it all on the boyfriend, saying, "Oh, it was his idea. I just kicked the guy, and this, that, and the third." But you just saying you inflicted any bodily harm to this person, meaning you're a co-conspirator. You help in this, but they didn't really get that much time. I think they got like 6 to 9 years because I guess because they were kids, they were teenagers, and like I guess they didn't feel like throwing the book at them. And the girl had a high profile ass lawyer because she was adopted by a rich family, so they had a high profile ass lawyer. And yeah, they only got 6 to 9 years, but they did this Michael guy so dirty, like ripped his stomach open, slit his wrists. They did him awful. It did him awful. And is this the fact being like like his family has to deal with these people are out of jail now. These people are living their life. And I feel as if shit like that is just egregious. Me personally, I feel like it was just because how they were profiling this girl. She was kind of real manipulative, and like the teenage boy was kind of just following along. And I get you make a lot of crazy mistakes, but murdering somebody at the age of 15 is outlandish. To just say, hey, let's just kill this guy in an egregious way is it's mind blowing to me. And then another case was cleaning lady. The cleaning lady one was very crazy. I think this happened in 2009. The It was such a random act of violence because it was the maintenance guy just like they didn't really give no context on why he did what he did to this cleaning lady. Literally just tied her up and put her in an event, and then she just died. Like there is no rhyme or reason why he did that, but they were looking for her throughout the building. They were looking for her in landfill. They were looking all over for her, but she was on I think the 12th floor of this multi-purpose building, like near like Wall Street. Just that's just like for what? Like these two cases are just a for what as case. Like they well pretty much all three of them, even the 38 $100 one. Is just it's crazy that you really impacting people's life and their family's life. You're ending people's life and you're impacting somebody else's family's life forever for no reason, for no reason whatsoever. Like, um, yeah, that happened, and then it was another case where it was a guy who owned a office office supply business. He got stabbed to death by his brother-in-law, and his wife. They were co-conspirators, and to get the life insurance policy. Now, I have seen a lot of cases like that on Snap and stuff of that nature. Um, it's egregious to see that again for that almighty dollar. I feel like people worship the dollar more than they worship any being that you believe in, right? There's Buddha, um, God, Zeus. Like people worship that dollar more than anything, and they end up getting caught. I think like 20 or so years later, once DNA, kind of got better, and they were sloppy though, because is this the fact being like certain people start kind of coming forward, say, hey, I remember you're supposed to meet me here, and he didn't, and then the nanny kind of bridged the gap to with more things, so they end up solving that 2 decades later. But something that stood out to me about that case is how relentless the guy who got stabbed to death father was this, he was calling the police, hey, do y'all have leads, like every hour on the hour, and then that is just the fact being his his grandson, like, felt some type of way about his mom being put in jail, and this the whole circus of that. And he stopped talking to his grandfather because when his father got killed, she took him from that side of the family. So again, for insurance policy, you eroded, eradicated your entire family for $1 million. This, like, one thing that we have to really think about is it's people who came before us, right? It's people who came before us. I don't know how deep people family tree is. I'm pretty sure everybody got a long family tree, but everybody don't know like their family tree. It's shit that happened in my bloodline that I'm probably still being affected by subconsciously. So with that being said, is just the fact that you would rather put in a negative wrinkle in your family tree and your family DNA for $1 million. 2 decades later, I'm pretty sure that $1 million was gone. Probably in the first 4 to 5 years after that, after you didn't kill your husband. It's crazy. And then the last case was a serial rapist and killer, and like this was in East Harlem, and this shit was very crazy because it was just like young girls, like it was like 18, 15, 13, 14. It was multiple victims, but he killed I think two or three people, but it was like a total of like 8 girls, and this was a black man. And anybody who have seen the birth of a nation know how even more egregious it makes what he did, because what birthed a whole movement of racism was the ideology of a black man being a rapist. So not only are you raping and killing minorities, because it was black girls, Hispanic girls, short, like 5 foot nothing, about 5 feet, to like 5'5", he was raping, and killing, leaving them in stairwells and stuff of that nature. And like I think one victim was burned on a roof. Like this is what This gives people who don't look like me ammunition to attack me, to be fearful, because I know how to um watch something and say any race could have did this, but somebody else may look at it and be, oh, this is what a black man does. It's people who think like that. There's people who think like that. So he makes shit so much harder for men and women who look like me when you do shit like that multiple times to young girls. That shit is egregious as fuck. Like, and he was saying, oh, they not gonna convict me to like the detectives after like they arrested him. And even when they arrested him, he was in Florida with a 15-year-old. Like, they fled to Florida, and he was like, oh no, they ain't gonna book me. And they should have threw his ass in the lecture chair, man. They should street justice. I felt like needs to have been like had, because it's just like you was just so confident that you just got, like, you committed the perfect crime, and these people would never know it was you. And when you sexually assault people, you leave DNA. Like, I don't get that. It just blows my mind that people would think like that. So in conclusion to all these stories that I just told you about with the with this New York documentary, I just feel like it just speaks more to just the animalistic um being that we are, because we are animals, and sometimes we can turn from animals to savage beasts. And this is just, again, in the next topic, the depths of human abandonment. I'm gonna kind of touch on that even more. The fact that all these people kind of, even at young age, even like just people who are middle age, but even whether your mind is fully, developed or not, you still can do egregious shits, because I feel like you have your conscious, your good and bad, side of like your mind, where like the devil, like the angel and the devil. And some people, I feel like the devil is much louder and makes much more sense in their head than other people. And they just feel like, okay, I feel more comfortable when I'm doing wrong. I feel more comfortable when um all these things that I have limited control over, I'm able now to control for a moment. Yeah, let me do this. And again, that speaks to insecurities. All these documentaries have all that in common. These people who are doing these humane things to other humans are insecure. If I'm able to literally pummel, rape, pillage, stab, kill somebody in a egregious manner for money, for just cause, it's something wrong with my heart, my mind, everything. Because it's just the fact being, you shouldn't do these things, because these same things that you just did can be done onto you. We all have intestines, we all have a heart, we all have a brain. So if you blow somebody else's brains out, what's stopping the next person from blowing your brains out? If you cut somebody's intestines out, what's stopping somebody from cutting your intestines out? Like, I definitely does leave it all blind. So these things, like egregious things, are meant for egregious people. Like I said, these, like, if you elected to rape multiple young girls and burn and strangle and leave them, I definitely feel like egregious shit should be done to you. But that's just me, But you know, certain people that may be like, hey, just lock them up, throw them away. But is this certain shit that is just fucked up? Period. Is just fucked up. You know. And to kind of pivot to the next topic, the depths of human abandonment. 55, 55 on the dot. Yeah, I told hey, you made it this far. I fuck with you for real, because I told you I'm gonna be long winded on this episode. Um, yeah, the depths of human abandonment is crazy because all these documentaries have that same element of human abandonment. For whatever reason, is we're fixated. We're fixated on okay, how can we just throw away everything and feel like we're God, feel like we're the superhero, feel like we're invincible. Let's do the most egregious shit and act as if we would never be held accountable for it. Can't nobody see me doing this if it's done in the dark. Can't nobody do this if I bury, burn, dismember, whatever to like this human being who has a family, who has people who care about them. Like I don't I don't really get that. Let me hack people account. Let me fuck people's checkup. Let me fuck up. Let me T-bone this car because it cut me off. All these things as if again, if these things can't be done onto you. I get things happen in the spur of the moment. I get people we are impulsive beings, we're impatient beings, but I know I'm not the only person who practice patience, who practice seeing shit from every single angle possible before I go and act upon it. Cause um it's stuff going on with me financially with my job. And I'm not gonna just jump the gun and be like, okay, my employer is the reason why said things happen. I have to get evidence. I have to get facts. No matter how charged up or this and the third I feel towards it, or how slighted I feel about how they're kind of choosing not to handle it and this and the third. And I'm not going to lie, I have lost respect for how they conduct business. But however, I'm not going to be egregious. I'm not going to do anything crazy unless I have evidence to kind of make it make sense so that I can if it has to go a step further, I have reason why it goes a step further. But there's certain things that people just do just because they literally can. And I know my aunt is not the first person who has ever said this, but just because you can don't mean that you should, and that's facts. Like we're free to quit our job right now. I can call my job and like, hey, I'm never coming back because of XYZ. I have the liberty to do that. I have the liberty to say to my wife, I no longer want to be with you. I have the ability to call my daughter and say, you're no longer my daughter. Or call my mom and say, you're no longer my mom, or this and that. I can abandon my responsibilities. I can abandon relationships. I can abandon everything within my life. But that don't mean that I should. Just because I I can. Like it does not make sense to me. It's something not adding up in this equation where some people feel like doing the worst, they should do the worst things known to man. Comment down below if you know why that's a thing. When did that become said thing? And I know it's been going on since biblical times, but I'm trying to figure out like what like and we could probably say Adam and Eve. We can probably say, oh, because they introduced sin to the world, but I just find it very fascinating that people would run their life over, reverse, go over again for this marginal comfort, marginal. Yeah, I got that out of my system. Like, and now you have to deal with what comes with that getting out your system. And that's the part that now motherfuckers want to, oh, I didn't mean to do that, or it wasn't it wasn't like that, or they made me do it. If God forbid if I ever do anything unspeakable or cross a line that I had to stay on that line, as God is my witness, as my name is Raymond Deontay Dotson, like I'm gonna stay 10 toes down. I may have moments where I'll be like, man, I probably shouldn't have done that. But it's done. At the end of the day, the shit is over with, it's done with. It's a lot of things that I would do, not necessarily different per se, but I would kind of think before I even put myself in the position, pause, to even fall victim to certain things. You know, in certain rooms I wouldn't find myself in, pause, with like said people that I have dealt with in in the past, but all roads leads to like your destiny. So all these things has happened to me that happened to me was meant to happen so that I can launch this podcast, so I can DJ, so I can write music. So, but yeah, in conclusion, man, I just feel like, yeah, we just do it because that momentary, like that moment of just it's done, like that Thanos, that but stuff comes after that. So I would challenge anybody who has watched and came this far, pause, um, to think about that. Next time somebody cuts you off, next time somebody do something so egregious, is hurting this person or taking a step further off of this person, is it really worth it so that you can have that comfort of, okay, I feel better now. Or can you challenge that energy in doing something more productive, getting back at them in another way and letting God take care of it? I I kind of challenge you to do that. You do as you please, but make sure when you do as you please, you don't plead when it's all said and done. Moving on to the one size fits all mentality. We had our all right, one size fits all mentality. In the words of the Different Stroke theme song, what might be right for you may not be right for some. Um, I'm kind of bled out with this mentality that people have, as I don't look at the world like how I look at myself. I like I don't, because it comes a point in time to where I know that I'm an individual. That God has called me to be an individual, to be Raymond Dotson. You know, to just be him, to just be me, nobody else. So sometimes when we see something like greatness happen, like Brian's 40,000 points, or Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game, or Rodman grabbing 30 to 40 rebounds, 50 rebounds, we feel like, oh, he's giving effort. Everybody can do that. You just put your mind to it. It's a good sales pitch, but at the same time, everybody's built different. So everybody can like say that phrase. Yeah, I'm built different. Yeah, because you are you. Yeah, you a human being, but everybody's built different. So you can't expect people to react the same way you react towards stuff, or feel how you feel towards things. And this is something that can be said about everything I just said for the past hour. Um, but I feel like I don't have a, even though this is called the Dotted Line Podcast, I don't feel like I necessarily stand on a line of, just I'm saddened so much with this side. I'm saddened, like my line is right in the middle. I can see things from both sides. That's why it's the Dotted Line podcast, because I don't pick this side of the line stand on or that side. I have neutral. I'm neutral with my thinking. I'm able to see things from both standpoint and make an individual decision. Um, I don't try to project things upon others in a way that is uncomfortable or feel like you need to think like me because this is how I think. I wouldn't put that on my wife. I wouldn't put that on my child because we have to be ourselves. We have to be what God calls us to be, and that's it. You know, we can't wish for others to be so much like us to where it's it's getting cringy, it's getting weird, it's getting odd now, you know? So I challenge you. I challenge you to see if somebody is trying to project a change upon you so that you can be more like them, or maybe you're doing it. Maybe you're doing it to your significant other. Maybe you're doing it to your children. I challenge you to kind of reflect on that type of mentality because one size does not fit all. Pause. We all are our own person, and we should help each other try to figure out what's for us and what's not for us. So that's my spiel on one size fits all. Pause. That was fairly quick. What do you really know? That really took 4 minutes. That's crazy. That's probably the quickest segment I have ever had on the pod. But you know, um, what do you really know? It's a saying. The man that knows nothing knows that he knows nothing at all, and that's facts. We really don't know much. Our perspective is extremely limited. If you look at the book of Job, um, when everything was snatched from him and he was calling out the guy, God, come down here, explain yourself. And when God finally did come down and explain to him the totality of everything that the world is, from different ecosystems to different creations, Job was confused, like, damn, like, but that's the thing. What do we really know? What do we really have 100% knowledge of, to a point to where, like, we're just all knowing? We're not all knowing. The smartest person does not know nothing, because we only know what's being put in our perspective. Prisoner of perspective. Some people perspective compared to others may be broader. Like how I love to watch history documentaries or true crime documentaries. A lot of people don't. A lot of people will rather be on TikTok or be amongst other people talking about stuff that's irrelevant. To each his own. But I know with, like, me, I try to cram my mind with as much knowledge as I possibly can, and it's just the fact being like, um, even though I do that, I really don't know much because it's feel like I'm getting shown again different egregious things that a human can do, can think, can say. I'm getting shown um more more knowledge about different topics that I once thought that I knew, that I really don't. I was misinformed on for years upon years. I'm learning about people who I thought that I knew and loved that I really don't know, and um the love has been put on such distant a distant memory, and put on a vacation, you know. So I challenge you to ask yourself, what do you really know? What do you really know about yourself? What do you really know about your spouse? What do you really know about your neighborhood? What do you really know about your job? What do you really know about even your children? Like, it's a lot that you really have to sit in thought like how I do. Like I think this was the other night. My wife was finna go to bed, and she asked me, "Hey, what you about to do?" Well, I know she was about to take a nap. Hey, what you about to do? I was like, I'm gonna sit and think. She said, can like you cuddle me? I said, sure, I can multitask, so um it's just the fact being like I spend a lot of time in thought. I spend a lot of time with Raymond, and this is a perfect transition to the next topic. So where you are, there you are. Um, but yeah, I challenge you to really think about what you really know. But to pivot to the next topic, where you are, there you are. Like I said, I spend so much time. I think I'm kind of speed running these topics because I'm already at an hour and 10. But um, it's just the fact being where you are, there you are. When you spend time with yourself and your experiences, all these things that you have thought that you know, the things that you have seen, things that you have heard, when it's the midnight hour, when the kids going to bed, when the wife is going to bed, when you in that midnight hour, it's only you. Because I feel like our soul, our mind is influenced when we're around others. But when we just with yourself, you kind of start seeing a lot of you start hearing, you start feeling, you start being immersed in a new perspective, because we all go through the day where it's just us. Like currently, I'm at home by myself, and I love that because I'm able to think and move a little bit more as a individual, even though I'm part of covenant with my wife and God through our marriage. But when you're by yourself, um, building yourself up so that you can be a better partner to your wife, be a better servant to your God, and vice versa and stuff of that nature, and like really working on who you are is extremely important, because life is going to put you through experiences that, again, you're going to find yourself just being by yourself. You're going to find yourself saying, damn, what do I know? Who am I? What can I do to better this situation? It's going to be moments where God is going to put you there, and like, figure it out. You have went through enough to figure this out. And I just feel as if these people who I have mentioned throughout these documentaries over this past hour, they all have had that moment too. It's not just the good people. The bad people have this moment of reflection too, where, man, I'm really not shit, or man, I really did that. I really destroyed families, or I really did something egregious. I really crossed the line that I can never go back over. I really crossed over to a point of no return, you know? So I challenge you to have those midnight hour thoughts, those moments to where you challenge yourself and say, hey, do I still need to smoke? Hey, do I still need to watch porn? Hey, do I really need to hang around these group of people? Hey, do I really need to be at this job? And really have these conversations. I'm talking about as easy as it is for me to talk to this camera, is because I sat with myself and I bounced these ideas off of my mind. How like I come up with these topics and how I explain them, and throughout the week, for the next episode, like stuff of that nature, like I have to sit. Is I don't have a team of writers who send me topics. I don't call people. Like I text and to see what topics they would kind of want me to discuss every now and then, but I don't really go with those topics because it's kind of like either I already covered them or it's kind of like but I don't have a team of like writers to where it's to a point to where they're like just it's a plethora of just ideas. I have to experience life and I have to digest it and I have to meditate and I have to marinate on everything that has happened this past week, everything that I'm going through, and bam, you see the finished result. But I'm not gonna hold your ear any longer. But I challenge you to have those midnight hours conversations with yourself. But yes, this has concluded episode 7 of the Dialogue Podcast. I know I was long winded. But if you made it to the end of this episode, give yourself a good pat on the back. I hope something was said that gave you a little bit more knowledge. I hope something was heard that helped you get through your week. Put something on your spirit, something that sizzle within your spirit, so that you can be a better you for the week, be a better version of yourself today than you was yesterday after listening to this episode. But yeah, I hope you guys have a fantastic week. And yeah, until we meet again, this is Ray Dot, aka DJ Scotty 2 Dotty, aka Mr. Make You Move Your Body, signing off. Peace.